Hello everyone, good evening, welcome to Business Live. I'm Charles Aite. Here are the stories coming up tonight. President Akufo-Addo commissions biggest greenhouse village estate in West Africa. And government task force on retail trade met with resistance at Soja Bar in Accra as shops of foreign retailers without permits get shut down. And secretariat of the Africa Continental Free Trade Agreement expected to converge by end of this year to finalize outstanding issues ahead of the commencement of the trade next year. We have all these and more coming up shortly. First though, let's take a break. And you're welcome back. Now, President Akufo-Addo has commissioned 75 greenhouses and an entrepreneurship and innovation center at Dowenya, constructed by the Minister of Business Development and the National Entrepreneurship and Innovations Plan. Now, this is the biggest green village estate in Ghana and indeed in West Africa. The 75 greenhouses can produce 4,500 tons of tomatoes annually, bringing in a yearly revenue of some 11 million Ghana cedis and employing over a total of 230 people. Here is the president explaining how important this project is in boosting agriculture.
We are on course to remedying the situation more permanently and creating greater opportunities for the youth by building a strong and resilient economy with a focus on diversified Ghanaian agriculture, adopting value addition activities, and promoting industrialization with digital services, which are the driving forces for innovation, higher productivity levels, and job creation. The World Bank estimates that agriculture and agribusiness together could command a $1 trillion United States dollar presence in Africa's continental economy by the year 2030, compared to $313 billion in 2010. If more irrigation, smart business and trade policies, and a dynamic private agribusiness sector are harnessed to work side by side with government and link farmers with consumers in an increasingly urbanized Africa. That is why today's event is of such significance as we embark on the journey.
Now, government's task force on retail trade has begun shutting down shops without licenses at Soja Bar at Circle in Accra. Close to 50 shops have been locked up so far since the team made up of police and military officers moved into the trade zone. The retail traders, although initially cooperative, met the task force with both oral and physical resistance. PAC Nanayao Suffer was at the scene and now reports.
What are ways where you people are coming to verify and know who does no pay or who doesn't pay? So when you come, I bring my document. They say they're not here to check their document.
We want to comply according to what they asked us to do. This is the document. See the names of our members of our team. Now they are coming again.
See the paper, everything is here with me. Okay, what do you want me to do? I'm not a thief. I'm doing document. I'm doing document business. Huh? Why? What you tell us nonsense is this? This insult is over. If you want to kill me, kill me. I will not go anywhere. Nobody will lock my shop.
How do you want me to pay the loan I took from people? You know, since I closed my shop for 8 good months, I have family pay for rent, taking loan. The loan people are chasing me. Are you pushing me to get thief? Are you dragging me to become a robber in Ghana here? Why now? You are making me to be an armed robber. Anybody who is pushing me to be an armed robber, in generation will continue to thief. The thief, to the what end?
Redugo Cannes by now. Our shop were locked by Ghana Union of Traders, GOTA, since 1st December 2019. We are staffed for complete 8 months. On 2nd December, the interministerial task force came and opened the shop. they will accept you and give you a huge of amount of money to pay to the Ghana Revenue Authority. Some were giving even $2,000, $3,000, $1,500. The least is $1,000. And within that interval of 1 month, we have made an effort to make some part payment on that, based on that assessment. Working to complete. So many of us have lost their capital because at the course of the 8 months, we are not doing anything. You are eating from the little you have. Even so many people have turned even to beggar. We are begging in the street. We lost 3 lives at the cost of that 8 months because we were not having the funds to take care of those lives. The 2 children were very sick. The other woman was also very sick. But there's no money to take them to a good hospital to take care of them. They all died. Look at what is happening now. This woman was brutalized. It was even a security officer pulling her up. This woman, look at, she's about to faint. We are also calling the security agency to come and take her to the hospital.
Yeah, but do you think it's just for, I'm not defending the police, but do you think it's because they were met with resistance? Do you think any brutality came because they were met with resistance?
You wouldn't expect, if you are in our shoe, you even do more than whatever anybody is doing here. Because you have been staffed for 8 months. Even the sum of the money we paid to the Ghana Revenue Authority, we even borrowed it to pay.
So you go, let's get it clearly. So
based on the assessment they did on July 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, we have started paying at the Ghana Revenue Authority.
So that's your license claim that you paid?
We have, all of us have a receipt, even a file. This particular shop, I will call it for the file. You will see the file. So he has started paying. Everybody has, so many, about 50%, 70% have regularized their document.
An angry Prince Boateng, PRO of the Ministry of Trade and Industry, threatened even more police presence, while also explaining the grounds for the lockup.
If you're a foreigner and you are trading in this country, you must have the necessary residence and work permits to be in this country. There must be proof that you have paid your taxes. If you are a foreigner and you are trading in our market, you should show proof that you have invested at least $1 million in your capital. So if you don't have that, then it means that you are not part of this country. Now there is a ridiculous argument that people are part of ECOWAS. Now if you are part of ECOWAS does not mean that you can go into anybody's country and do whatever you like. In ECOWAS, we have what we call the rules of origin. Even with the rules of origin, it requires that the produce that you are selling in an ECOWAS country should have originated from a member country of ECOWAS. My brother, I'm here with you. The products that you are seeing here, do they emanate from any ECOWAS country? The way forward is that the shops will be locked whenever. If it is because we thought that they were going to be cooperative, as they were cooperative with us at Abosokan yesterday, for which reason we thought that we shouldn't come with a number of police or national security people. We thought that people were going to be disciplined and law-abiding. Now that we have seen that they are ready to combat us, I assure them that we'll come here with full complement of security. I do not have to create a place for them. What I need to do is to ensure that they do not trade in our markets, that they do not engage in retail trading. It is not my business to create a place for any foreigner to go and trade.
I'm referring to the trade ministry.
It is not the ministry, it is not the responsibility of the government of Ghana to find a place for foreigners to trade. You can trade anywhere, but you must not engage in retail trade. Such as outside our markets. This is a marketplace, and they cannot trade here.
Issues regarding unrest between foreign retailers and that of the locals as well. And to help us understand the matters better is the president of GUTA. They have always been calling for the shops to be closed, following what they term to be clear evidence that most of these foreign retailers are not operating under Ghana's retail laws. He joins us now. Many thanks, sir, for your time here on the program. Hello, Dr. Joseph Obey. Many thanks for being on the program.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much.
So first of all, I believe you have been monitoring events so far. What has been your response in terms of the entire task force team?
Yeah, I think they've started working, and that's to our expectation. Because now the agreement that we have with the Trade Ministry is that we are to do our work as traders, and then the law enforcers should do their work, and that we should sit on the fence. And that's why you don't see GUTA on the forefront this time. So it's the task force, the presidential task force on foreign retail trade, that is scrutinizing documents and then doing the needful.
From the clips that we have had on the ground, that most of these foreign retailers are claiming that the entire exercise happened without their notice. They had no notice from the various authorities on the closure of shops. This to them comes as a shock.
This is not fair. I think they are not being honest to themselves. The impasse here between the Circle mobile phone dealers and then the task force have been going on for a long time. If you recall, even it started before the lockdown, where they have mounted a desk for them to produce their documents. They are doing some of these things deliberately. Initially, we were not even conceding to certain things. We, Guta, have also conceded to a lot of things. The trade minister will attest to this. And so, if they have to produce their documents as stated by them, for them to regularize their documentation, they should just comply with the law. We are talking to the law now. That's why Guta have started on the fence. We are not on the floor. Now, we believe in the law, and we expect that the law should work.
Interesting, but moving forward, we have engaged, this goes beyond Guta, this goes beyond Ghanaian retail trade to even the Africa Continental Free Trade Agreement area. We have engaged most of the players within the space, and they are giving us a hint of some discussions among African leaders when it comes to the rules of origin in respective countries. They believe this could settle the score, especially when it comes to matters of retail trade in Ghana, in Nigeria, across several African countries.
Yeah, this is what they have to do. If you are making a treaty, then education should also follow suit. Then all the gray areas should be understood by the citizens of all countries. The rules of origin is the vein. That's what is to be respected by all. But the Continental Free Trade did not come for us to go and import Chinese goods to send to other countries. No other country will allow you to bring in those goods. That's why Nigeria even closed their borders based on the same rules of origin. The goods that are manufactured in these countries should be the focal point. If these foreigners who are here, the ECOWAS citizens, are selling goods that are produced in their member countries, in these member countries, then we don't have any issue at all. Nobody will go and disturb anyone. But if they are to come here and import goods from outside the ECOWAS peripheral, then there's a problem. And even that is abuse of the ECOWAS protocol itself.
When this exercise is over, are you very confident that this will put to rest Ghana's protracted retail feud?
Oh, definitely. Definitely. With them, all that the task force is telling them is to do the right thing by producing the legitimate documents. So they've itemized the list of documents that they have to comply with. If they are able to comply and regularize their documents, whichever protection that the government will give them, they will give them as it is in everywhere. Countries are governed by laws. And so you can't say that because we are brothers, because we live in the same sovereign sub-Sahara Africa and all that, then we should forgo our laws. I mean, it doesn't happen like that. If we do not even go further and explain the Continental Free Trade Area with the member citizens, the same thing I can foresee is going to happen when during the implementation of the Continental Free Trade.
Dr. Joseph Obin, grateful that you joined us. He's the president of the Ghana Union of Traders Association. Well, we shall come back to this development story regarding the closure of shops in Circle. But just before that, shareholders of MTN Ghana have unanimously approved payment of a dividend for the financial year 2019. The company recorded 1 billion cedi profits, an increase of more than 30% of the company's earnings against last year's performance. According to the board chairman, Ishmael Yankson, the company has earned a strong financial position for the first time in itself since it listed on the Ghana Stock Exchange. This, he believes, justifies the increment in the dividend, which is 6 pesos per share to shareholders. There is more in this report.
Telecom operator MTN Ghana continues to dominate the market with the largest subscriber base. After listing on the Ghana Stock Exchange in 2018, MTN has declared dividend to shareholders at the end of every financial year. However, the 2019 financial performance has been marginally affected by the banking sector crisis, which forced many shareholders to sell off their shares, a situation that brought selling pressure on the market. Seeking approval from shareholders at the virtual annual general meeting in Accra, Board Chairman Ishmael Yankson urged shareholders to maintain their confidence in the company and support its innovative strategies going forward.
If a final dividend of 4 pesos is declared and approved by shareholders, the total dividend payout ratio for 2019 will be 73.16% compared to the payout policy of 60%. This total dividend per share for 2019 will translate into 6 pesos compared to 5 pesos paid in 2018, representing a 20% year-on-year growth. There are enough retained earnings to accommodate the payment of this dividend.
Chief Executive of MTN, Selom Adadivo, on his part, admitted that the company continues to enjoy market leadership due to its innovative approach in dealing with businesses. He has also been highlighting some major strides made by the company for the period.
Engage all relevant stakeholders and regulatory agencies to support us in resolving these challenges that are affecting the entire industry. In terms of our revenue margins, the business reported a strong performance for the year. Service revenue increased by 22.8% year-on-year, underpinned by growth in revenue from voice, data, and mobile money. Double-digit growth in voice revenue, up 19.4% year-on-year, was driven by the increase in the number of active subscribers, up 11.2%, the benefits of various customer value management initiatives, and pro-customer activity.
MTN Ghana grew its data market share by about 25% since the outbreak of the COVID-19 pandemic in Ghana.
And you're still watching Business Live. Now, Ghana's policy interest rate of 14.5% ranks second highest in sub-Saharan Africa. That's according to Fitch Solutions tracker of policy rates on the continent. Charles Nixon Yeboah has been looking into this and joins me with some more insight. So, welcome to the program, Charles. Now, what exactly is this whole policy about in terms of its numbers?
Well, policy rate basically is a rate at which the central bank lends to the commercial banks. And if you clearly look at the data, Ghana's policy rate, even in West Africa, is the highest. And in sub-Saharan Africa, excluding North Africa, we are placed second behind Angola. And clearly it shows that cost of borrowing is very expensive in this country, and that is not good for the country in the sense that if businesses cannot borrow at a cheaper rate to inject into their operations, it's a problem. So clearly, going forward, we expect to see improvement in the macro economy. Before COVID, there were still challenges in the economy. Clearly, you could see that the fiscal deficit, i.e. expenditure vis-a-vis spending, as well as borrowing, was a problem. And clearly, it has rippling effect on growth and inflation, as well as some monetary indicators. But I would say that the central bank has done well to bring the policy interest rate from 25.5% in 2016 November to 14.5% as it stands now. And we hope to see a better rate going forward into the future. On the other hand, if you look at some of the indicators within the banking or financial sector, you could tell that cost of funds are also expensive. And the issue about non-performing loans, the issue about provisioning for bad debt is also a concern. So if we are not able to improve some of these indicators, then we would continue to see a high policy rate.
It's quite interesting you talked about the increase in bad debts and the non-performing loans, because we have engaged most of these banks, and they tell us the fact that yes, the policy rates are moderately low, but issues regarding lending to people, the probability of getting the money back, the risk is so high, they often tell us. Do you think this is justified?
Absolutely. You know, in banking, risk is a very key element. Credit risk, operational risk, market risk, and liquidity risk are very vital indicators as far as assessing a customer demand for loan. So you can tell that banks don't joke. They borrow from you and I. We deposit our funds with them as in savings or time deposits, and they lend some of these funds. If it goes bad, it affects the bank's capital adequacy ratio. So in that case, the banks have to be mindful in terms of lending. However, if we are able to do better in improving some of the pointers, I left out the issue about the addressing system. We saw the digital addressing system launched a couple of years ago, but yet still there are challenges. And until we see these improvements, we will still experience high cost of borrowing in this country.
But you have been doing a lot of reading within this, this field. From your perspective, do you think there is much hope that the cost of lending could go down?
Absolutely, because if you look at the spread between the policy interest rate and the lending rate is about 7%, and that is quite good comparatively to previous years. The experience of the 20-something% policy rate, meaning that at a point in time you were borrowing at about 38% on the average, and when you compute it to 12 months, that means month on month, the kind of rate you are going to pay is quite high. And if you are borrowing at even 2.53%, it's quite expensive.
Charles Nixon, many thanks for the analysis there. You're still watching Business Live with me, Charles Aite. Still on trade matters, the Secretary of the Africa Continental Free Trade Agreement area will converge by end of this year to finalize all outstanding issues ahead of the commencement of trade next year. Now, speaking on the marketplace earlier today, Chief Technical Advisor and Head of the Trade Negotiation Support Unit, Prudence Sebahizi, said that a meeting will also help the Secretary General to acquaint himself with the operations of the other staff of the Secretariat.
We already have the AfCFTA Secretary General. He's been appointed on the 23rd of March this year, and he's ready to move to the AfCFTA headquarters in Accra. And the immediate attention that he has to bring to the process is to complete the recruitment process of the AfCFTA Secretariat staff. We are already in the process of finalizing outstanding negotiations, and there is a planned extraordinary summit on the 5th of December this year. And we believe that by then, most outstanding work on negotiations will be concluded, and come 1st of January 2021, we will start trading within the AfCFTA framework.
Now, the former Minister for Trade and Industry, Ecospio Gabra, says Ghana's industrialization agenda can only be a success if the nation prioritizes science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, STEM education. He says the only way the country can stop being a net importer of basic items is for the educational system to deliberately train the youth with science and tech skills. He was speaking at an event in Accra to mark the International Youth Day 2020, organized by his NGO, African Business Center for Developing Education.
Then you had involvement in STEM, so specifically science, technology, engineering and mathematics, especially for girls. STEM is not just for girls, but STEM is for all people who want to study science, technology and mathematics. But in our case, we are focusing on girls to help with girl child education and to make as many more of our nationals and our citizens scientists as possible. I think we all know that most developing countries, and Ghana in particular, does not have as many innovative, practical technologists and engineers as other countries have. And so almost everything that we are consuming is imported. And if you are concerned about the importation of almost everything, and all our policymakers decry it from time to time and wish we could have made more goods made in Ghana, then how do we make those goods if we don't have scientists and technologists who understand the process of manufacturing and all the value chain that attends to that process? So we are very eager to help more students get into STEM education and produce more individuals who can help to reverse our complete dependency in many respects on the outside world.
Now, Nestle Ghana says it will prioritize consumer experience amid COVID-19. The nutrition-focused company today engaged a cross-section of women at its consumer forum in Accra. This was to educate them on good eating habits and also expose them to the company's new products. There is more in this report. Nestle Ghana Limited has engaged a cross-section of consumers in Accra on how to live a healthy eating lifestyle. The Consumer Forum saw consumers oriented on the various nutritious products from Nestle. Samantha Wutofe is the Marketing Services Manager at Nestle Ghana Limited.
This is our way of rewarding our consumers who've been patronizing our products for all these years. We like to be close to our consumers. This is why we have forums like this. We just want to, because at the end of the day, we believe we're winning, and we're winning because we listen to our consumers. So we'll continue doing the activities we do. As mentioned earlier on, you know, we do the Nestle Nutrition line. We've been running that for 19 years. It's a public health service program. And in that, it's also an opportunity for our consumers to interact and give us their feedback. So I would say we'll do more of the same.
Meanwhile, Samantha Wutofe has detailed to Joy Business strategies her outlet has adopted to improve consumer experience amid the coronavirus.
The consumers, they come first, and we know food is a necessity. And now, why we're having this conversation today, because whilst we are practicing safety procedures, we should not neglect our nutrition, our nutritional needs. So I would say that it's not so much about marketing, but it's really about the products that the consumers need. That is what we are there serving them.
The Nestle Ghana Consumer Forum forms part of a consumer engagement to not only orient consumers on new Nestle products, but also expose them to ways of healthy eating. Well, and that's how we end this edition of Business Live. For me, Charles Aiti, and the rest of the team, many thanks for watching.